Hello, my name is Joel and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Shared Deck. So today I'm going to be doing another 5-color Commander Deck, Sliver Overlord. So Sliver Overlord has been one of my oldest EDH or Commander decks in my collection. So how this deck wins is, if I'm using Sliver Overlord, the goal of the deck is try to assemble all 5 Sliver Overlords, well, all 5 Sliver Lords, and try to win, and hopefully that'll be enough to overwhelm my opponents. So it uses a lot of tutors, and also Sliver Overlord is built in tutor to help dig out some of the lords that's in the deck. So that's pretty much how it wins. And if that doesn't work, then I'll tutor up some utility toolboxy slivers to hopefully I'll be able to overvalue my opponents throughout the long game. So Sliver Overlord, and then the next commander, if I don't feel like doing Sliver Overlord, I could use the First Sliver. So with the First Sliver, I usually would go wide because of the Cascade ability. So that's how I win if I'm using the Sliver Overlord. It's definitely a fun deck if I'm using the Sliver Overlord. Oh, the First Sliver. If I'm using the First Sliver, it's a fun deck to use. The next, if I'm using the Sliver Queen, I definitely go wide a little, but in a different way. So with this First Sliver, use the Cascade ability, and hopefully you'll be able to cascade into a couple more slivers. With the Sliver Queen, I have to use the token ability to overwhelm my opponents and try to search or tutor up some slivers that will give my slivers a power boost, like Sliver Legion or Might Sliver and all that. The next would be Sliver Hivelord. So if I'm using Sliver Hivelord, since it has this indestructibility ability, so usually I'll have a lot of slivers that deals damage to itself. Then hopefully they'll be enough to deal damage to everybody or to a player. This is very good if I have this out and I have a Blasphemous Act, which is inside the deck, that deals 13 damage to each creature. So that's a lot of damage. Next will be Sliver Legion. So with Sliver Legion, this is probably the weakest. Obviously, I try to go wide with it too, but you're just relying more on just trying to just draw into your slivers and tutor up some very good slivers and toolboxy slivers. So hopefully we'll be able to get enough slivers into play and overwhelm our opponents. So, all right, without this, after this, we'll go through the lands. So with the lands, you gotta have a Cavern of Souls to make all my naming slivers, making them uncounterable. Now, so up to Tri-lands, got Idanta, Ketria, Zagat, and Savai. So we'll go through this real quick. This is pretty much the same as my pre-Genesis deck, just about, but this only has 38 lands. So it has a Watery Grave, all 10 Ravnica dual lands. So go through this: Stomping Grounds, Steam Vents, Hollow Fountain, Sacred Foundry. Go through this: Temple Garden, Overground Tomb, Blood Grip. All right, a couple of fetch lands. So Prismatic Vista, and Fabled Passage. It does so. Mana fixing is very important for my deck, especially it's a 5-color deck. So any fetch lands I could use is pretty awesome. Rare, at least that's pretty good. So Fabled Passage, Prismatic Vista, even though it only stretches up for basic lands, it's mana fixing. So Flooded Strand. So a couple of fetch lands, like actual fetch lands. So go through this real quick. I need to go So I'll go through that. So there's these. So there's just a couple: arid, looted, wooded. Mana Confluence, some 5 color lands, some Mana Confluence, Exotic Orchard, Command Tower, Reflecting Pool, City of Brass, and some basic lands. So let's move up a little bit. There you go. So we move them. So we got an island, a mountain, a swamp, 2 swamps, 1 forest, and 2 plains. Okay. So now here for the tutors. So Birding Pod, very important to the deck. It searches out some of the Sliver Overlords. That's what's in there for. Or some toolboxy slivers. Searches out for necrotic sliver or harmonic sliver. So that's what it's in there for. Eladamri's Call. Another tutor to look for some of the Sliver Lords. That's pretty much it. Court of Calling, same as Eladamri's Call. Court of Calling pretty much does the same thing, but it just puts it directly into play. So Demonic Tutor, having this many tutors really does allow me to use whatever Sliver Lord that I want to be a commander, and I'll be able to somewhat follow a game plan. So that's why I have so many tutors, to be a little bit flexible, whatever Sliver Lord that I have as a commander. Green Set Zenith, this is Sliver Lord 6. So usually this 9 out of 10 times will always tutor up for a Sliver Lord. And Bring the Light, this is 7. Sliver Lord number 7, pretty much. Because if you pay the converge cost, all 5 colors, if you put in all 5 colors into it, it's pretty much like your hard casting. You put a Sliver Lord into play. Instants and sorceries, I really don't want to use it that much, but the creature is what I usually use it for. Tooth and Nail, you could look up for 2 Sliver Lords all at one time. So if I have 9 mana lying around, so this is not there for just combo. It's just there for pretty much for the Sliver Lords. So I have quite a few tutors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got 7 tutors for there. So ramp, important part of the deck. Move up a little bit more. All right. There you go. Felwar Stone. So we'll go try to breeze through this real quick. Felwar Stone, Nature's Lure, Coalition Relic, Solemn Simulacrum. This is for Birthing Pod. So I could sacrifice this and look for a Sliver Lord. It's very good too, because you could get to draw a card, even though it only looks for a basic land. Sceneborn Muse. So if I'm using Sliver Overlord, this is pretty good. So I could tutor it. I could tutor a couple of creatures in each of my opponent's turn, if it even lives that long to last to another player's turn. So if I have this for one whole round, this is pretty good. Noble Hierarch, ramp, creature ramp. Sylvan Caryatid, ramp. 3 visits, ramp. Birds of Paradise, ramp. Chromatic Lantern, it's ramp and mana fixing at the same time. Farseek, Arcane Signet, and Soul Ring. So, all right. So this is if I'm if I'm lagging behind in this will be my go-to sliver, the Dormant Sliver. So it lets me draw a card for every sliver that comes into play. But I do have a lot of slivers that has a self-sacrificing ability, which means that it also gains that ability. So I could, whenever I do need to attack, I could go ahead and attack to get rid of the defender ability. So very good sliver. Homing, if I need to look for a specific sliver. Shifting, if I want to win. I don't really encounter a lot of sliver decks in my metagame, so in my group, so it's almost pretty much unblockable. Psionic Sliver is very good if you're using Sliver Overlord as, oh no, sorry, not Sliver Overlord, Sliver Hivelord as a commander. So it deals 2 damage and 3 damage to itself, so it's very good. So if you have the Sliver Hivelord as commander, this is pretty much a good one. Or even if you do have Sliver Legion, if you have like 5 slivers in play, so that 3 damage doesn't really bother you at all. Or if you have a Spiteful Sliver into play, it already in play, then you're doing 5 damage to each creature. So let's go through, hopefully we'll get to that Spite Sliver. Magma Sliver. This is a game ender. If a Crystalline Sliver is not into play, then this is not too effective. But if you have a couple slivers already in play, this will do a lot of damage. Just tap it, and target sliver gets plus X until end of turn, where X is the number of slivers in play. So that would get outrageous pretty quick. Fury Sliver. All slivers gets double strike. Sedge Sliver. So this is a very good card too. If you don't have a Sliver Hivelord, Regenerate would probably be the second best survivability ability you have. So if you have this and a Psionic Sliver, so if just as long as you have the Swamp, then you could just tap it, 2 damage and 3 damage to itself, and just regenerate it. So if you have a couple slivers, you can do that. So it's good, and it gives a power boost too. Brood Sliver. So this is more for if you have Sliver Legion as a commander. Then this is definitely a good card, making sure that slivers do get in and do some massive damage. So Firewake Sliver. All slivers gain haste and sacrifice. This creature, target sliver gets +2/+2 until end of turn. All they needed for the haste ability. So yeah, all slivers gain trample. Root Sliver. All slivers can be countered. Usually I just sacrifice this to Birthing Pod to look for a Sliver Lord. So, Necrotic Sliver. Pinpoint removal. Single target removal. Destroy target permanent. Very good. One of the first slivers I do tutor up for if I do have a permanent that I need to get rid of. Crystalline Sliver. Slivers have Shroud. Acidic Sliver. When you need to have that couple damage to get through, and one more way to sacrifice. What was that sliver that gives defender? A dormant sliver. One more way to sacrifice a dormant sliver. Harmonic Toolbox. Destroys target artifact and enchantment. Another ward sliver. So this, if you just need to get through your opponents through their blockers, so this is definitely a go-to card. Gemhide Sliver. Ramp. Pretty much. Synapse Sliver. This is card draw. So whenever it deals combat damage, you may draw a card. So this is definitely a good card to have. Cloudshredder Sliver. So this is definitely one of the MVPs in my deck. One of the first ones if I do need to get flying and haste. Man, good card. Might Sliver. All slivers gets +2/+2. Dark Heart. Another way to sacrifice Dormant Sliver. And unless you gain 3 life. Hibernation. When you need to protect some of your Sliver Lords, then Hibernation Sliver will pay 2 life, then return it to your hand. So Or if there's a board wipe and you have a lot of life, then it wouldn't be too bad. So. Wing Sliver. All slivers gain flying. So with Frenetic Sliver, so this is one way to get rid of a dormant sliver. So either way how the flip ends, you want to get rid of the dormant sliver. So if you get board wipe, then you have somewhat of a chance to keep your creatures. So somewhat of a board wipe protection, even though you might not get all of it. Mnemonic, sacrifice, draw a card. Pretty much does the same thing. Kills a dormant sliver if you have to. So this is a spiteful sliver. So this is what I was talking about. If you have Sliver Hivelord and you have this, so just whenever this creature is dealt damage, deals damage to target player or planeswalker. So if you have a Blasphemous Act, deals 13 damage. So that's a lot of damage, especially if you have a lot of slivers into play. Gotta have some Graveyard Hate, Relic of Progenitus. Okay, some board wipes now. So we're in the board wipe section. So you got Cyclonic Rift, no explanation for that. Supreme Verdict. So now we are in the Graveyard Recursion section. So we have Reanimate. Pretty much whenever a sliver dies, then I'll be able to reanimate it and put it back into play. Granted, I lose life for it, so. Call against command. Much the same thing. It has a little bit of a model, a little bit of versatility to it. So, turn target creature from your hand. That will always be an option, and destroy target artifacts. So, those are the two options that I mostly choose. Profane command, the same thing. If there's a sliver that's in the graveyard, I need to get back. So this will be it. And most of the time, I usually use the -X ability to it. Or if someone is really low in life, then I'll be able to win the game if I have enough mana to spend for the X life. Okay, so this one, for win conditions, Triumph the Horde, give all my creatures Infect, and +1/+1 and Trample card. Some protection ability. Heroic Intervention. All my creatures gains Hexproof and Indestructible. Love that. Okay, this is kind of weird. All right, Blasphemous Act. This is the card that's one of the board wipes. I don't know what happened, but ended up in my single target removal section. Path to Exile. And Swords to Plowshares. That's the last one. Alright, so that's my Sliver Overlord deck, Commander deck. So hopefully you enjoy. Please share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.